welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. I am your host, the average Mustang driver that you guys like to attack whenever I insult your Anderson lower, I guess, that your mom said that we have at home. Thanks for watching. Guys, today we're going to be talking about my choice for duty guns. Duty gun, concealed carry, doesn't matter. We're talking about handguns today, and I'm going to talk about upgrades and just some stuff that I would recommend to you. I know there's a lot of new gun buyers that are jumping on the channel, which is awesome, but I want to make sure you guys have a foundation where you can start, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today is duty guns slash what handgun I recommend, okay? And just some things I recommend you guys do. Take it or leave it. It's just my experience. Before I get too far into it, you guys know the deal. Got to show for myself. Patreon. If you want to become a member of the Discord server, awesome. Join the Patreon for $5 a month, and I'll send you a link to the Discord where you can stay up late and we can read the comments in my YouTube videos, and it's awesome. It's a good time, and you'll get some fun out of it. Mystery Ranch. If you need a pack to prepare for the end of the world, or you just need something to put your gym stuff in so you can go to and from work in the gym and put your MP5K that you're bringing to and from wherever, well, consider using the link below for Mystery Ranch. Okay, let's talk about duty guns. So I see your guys' questions. I see your guys' comments all the time on the channel talking about you carry this, you carry that. So today's just going to be my advice. If you want to know what I do or the reason why I do things, today we're going to talk about it. So as you guys know, I shoot a lot of stuff on the channel. I shoot pythons, staccatos, what else? Brain fart, my Glock 43X, and primarily I shoot a lot of these Glock 19s, okay? Specifically Glock Gen 5s, the 19X, or the Shadow systems, and we're going to talk about why. First and foremost, what caliber would I recommend? 9mm, okay? 40 is going to be more recoil, less capacity, and it's going to be less widely available, i.e. if you're playing Minecraft and you smoke somebody in defense in Minecraft in your server and you go over to their loot drop, they're going to have Glock 19 magazines, okay? Most likely because it is one of the most commonly carried guns in America, okay? And in the world, Glock Gen 3 specifically. So why Glock? Why Glock? And when I say Glock, I also mean Shadow systems, okay? Here's the Shadow systems, and we're going to talk about all these guns and talk about why I set them up the way I do, and, you know, we're not going to get in a big old rush, okay? But why Glock? Glock because they're simple, okay? There's not a lot of switches and stuff that could go wrong on the gun, so that's step number one. They're extremely reliable. Yes, Glocks do malfunction. A lot of guys like to say that their gun never malfunctions. That's not true. You're either A, not training enough, but I have had a few, like one or two with each of these guns malfunctions, right? Whether it be just weird stuff or user-induced malfunction like writing the slide release so the gun cannot lock back when you're out of ammo. That's not a malfunction, that's a user issue. But yes, all guns do malfunction, okay? So what else? What do I recommend you guys do to the gun? So first and foremost, when you buy your Glock 19, Gen 5 or Gen 3, whichever one, those are the two generations I recommend. It's going to come with some really crappy sights, okay, unless you get a 19X like this one. First thing I recommend you do, if you're not going to run a red dot for whatever reason, take those plastic sights off, throw them in the trash, okay, and put on some good Trigicon metal sights, okay? Now, there's two schools of thought, and I posted a lot of them on the channel, but I'll just kind of consolidate all my thoughts on handguns right here. If you're going to run a red dot, you need to Loctite it properly, and I do recommend red dots, right? A red dot will make you a better shooter. It will be a lot easier to use the handgun efficiently. However, irons still work, okay? The biggest thing is you want to make sure when you install your new irons, if it recommends Loctite, use Loctite, right? Whatever they recommend, you need to actually follow. If they say to use Loctite and you don't, and you're out shooting and the sights ejecto-ceto themselves, that's a you problem, not a gun problem, okay? So if you buy your Glock, first thing you do is switch out your night sight, or put some metal Trigicon sights on here. If you're going to be using this for duty use, step number two is to buy a light if you require one, right? There's only two brands that I recommend, Streamlight or Surefire. If you're going to get Streamlight, it's one like this, okay? A Streamlight TLR1, they work. The HL, they're 1000 lumen. They're not as durable as a Surefire, however, they do work, right? If you can afford it, definitely get a Surefire. That's going to set you up for greater success. After that, the only other thing I recommend you do to the gun, if you're just running iron sights, is put on some of this Talon grip tape, okay? You guys might be able to see it here on the gun. What this is going to do is make the gun not move as much in your hand. So when you're sweaty, bloody, whatever you got going on, some good Talon grip tape. I think it's like freaking $10 or $15. Order some of those and make sure you have your girlfriend or wife's freaking blow dryer and use that as a heat gun and put your Talon grips on, and that's it. I don't recommend you do anything else to the pistol other than the most important step, which is run the gun, okay? Shoot the guns. You're going to need to train and shoot the guns. However, they are extremely, extremely accurate. They're going to be more accurate than most of us, right? And you outperform a Glock? Yeah, you can. You can get close to outperforming a Glock. However, most people will never get that good, and it doesn't really matter because, in my opinion, handgun accuracy, this thing is accurate. It's extremely accurate, and it's definitely accurate enough for anything we're doing, right? So yeah, Glock. That's everything for iron sights. Okay, let's talk about red dots, right? If you're going to get anything other than a Glock, my advice would be a Shadow Systems, okay? This is I think it's like a 17 size or 34 size Shadow Systems. Now, if you're gonna, I do recommend running a red dot, so if you decide you want to run a red dot, I don't recommend you get a Glock MOS because a Glock MOS, the mounting plate is trash. So if you're like, hey Trench, I'm definitely gonna run a red dot, good choice, okay? This is the DR920L. It has a Holosun EPS sight. It's a closed emitter thing, and it works great, right? You don't need to add any Talon grip tape on the Shadow Systems because they already come with a pretty aggressive, I always call it like a 60% of a Talon grip. It's not as aggressive, but it works pretty well, okay? So if you want a pistol that has everything done that's still a Glock, but it's, gonna do red dot things better, I highly recommend Shadow Systems. I'll show you another one here. This is probably one of my most fired weapons, okay? You guys have seen it a ton on the channel. Those of you that have been following for a while, this is an MR920, okay? It's a Glock 19. But the thing is, there's a couple dots we're gonna talk about, but the thing is, I have had this Holosun 407C on here for several years now, and it just won't die. Like I've told you guys before, the second this dot dies, I'm putting in either a 507 comp, a Holosun 507 comp, because those are really good, or I'm putting a RMR on this gun. However, this Holosun won't die. But the day it does, yes, I will upgrade. And I would recommend you guys get a little bit better of a dot. So do as I say, not as I do. But like I said, this thing's just been on here for so long, I'm just going to keep running it. It's got over 10,000 rounds. No, it's got over 12,000 rounds. Because I think, 6 months ago, I hit the 12,000 round mark and did a video on this actual gun, okay? So yeah, 12,000 rounds over, way over that now. And this thing is awesome, right? It's whatever. It's a red dot. It does red dot things, and the glass will not die for whatever reason. I should note, for Shadow Systems, I have replaced the recoil spring assembly because the other one came uncaptured, right? I think that was right after the 6,000 round mark or so. I did replace that recoil spring, but other than that, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, break-in period. This gun in particular had some light primer strikes when I first got the gun, but it's all good now. There was just a weird break-in period, which was, I normally don't have a break-in period for any of my striker-fired handguns, i.e. Glocks, okay? But yeah, those are my recommendations. If you're gonna take my advice and you wanna know what I recommend for a serious, both competition gun, I've never had any, I don't have any confidence issues at all running these guns compared to my Staccato C2. My Staccato C2, because it is a 2011, in the back of my mind, I'm just kind of waiting for that thing to fail. And, yeah, I just feel more comfortable day to day carrying most of the time one of these options that you see down here, okay? So here's my 19X. I'll just show you all the guns real quick. And that is kind of going to be my advice for a duty gun or competition gun. Here's my 19 with my fanny pack trigger guard on it, okay? What magazines? Glock OEM, I do not recommend Magpul magazines for Glocks, Shadow Systems, Glock, whatever, because they are trash. But yeah, those are my thoughts on my carry gun, right? Holsters, I should have another video that's coming out either before this or whatever on holsters, but if for some reason it doesn't drop on the channel, I recommend Safariland, T-Rex Arms, and NSR Tactical. Do not use any sort of leather holster when it comes to a striker-fired handgun unless it's a shoulder holster, because those typically are not as much of a safety concern as an appendix or 4 o'clock carry or a duty carry. But yeah, there should be another video dropping on holsters. But yeah, those are the guns that I shoot the most. Obviously, I own other guns. I own, Berettas, Staccato, stuff like that. But when it comes to like SHTF, end of the world, duty use, anything for realsies, it's gonna be a Glock or it's gonna be a Shadow Systems. As I have stated, those are interchangeable in my own mind. And yeah, that's what I recommend you do to the guns. And you guys are gonna do with that information what you want. But yeah, make sure you guys use the link down below for Mystery Ranch. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and until next time, it's going to be Trench Grenade, your average Mustang driver that Anderson fanboys, I didn't even know Anderson fanboys was a thing, that your mom said that we have at home, signing out. Cheers.